Hello, I'm Hugh Coakley from the Guildford Dragon News, and today we welcome the Archbishop of Canterbury. Start
again.
Yep. Hello, I'm Hugh Coakley from the Guildford Dragon News, and today we welcome the Hello, I'm Hugh Coakley from the Guildford Dragon News, and today we welcome the Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. Justin Welby, to Guildford. Archbishop, a huge welcome. And sincere welcome to Guildford, and thank you for giving us time for this interview.
It's very kind of you, Hugh, and it's really nice to be with you.
You're in Guildford for 4 days, and you have a hectic schedule. Can you tell us why you're here?
Yes, very briefly, it is that a core part of Christian faith and of being an archbishop is to tell people the good news of Jesus Christ, that God sent his Son to open the way for us to know God. And that's the purpose of this weekend.
So I saw in a video you're saying that there are big questions that have arisen out of COVID, and you're saying the answer is in Jesus Christ. Is this something for non-believers as well, this tour of yours around Surrey?
This is particularly for non-believers. When you look around Surrey and most of England, almost everywhere you look, you see a thumping great building with a tower or a spire normally. In Guildford, you've got the cathedral on the hill and so on. And this isn't just history, it is the living symbol of the presence and reality of God. And it's reminding people that that is true, and it's for non-believers to show them that they are loved by God and can find the love of God.
What's the reaction been? Has it been a sellout? Are there tickets free? Are there tickets available, rather?
Well, I think they're free as well, as
yes.
it happens. But one venue is pretty well booked up, as I understand it. But hey, I'm Justin Welby. I'm not, Morgan
Justin
Wine.
Bieber.
Yeah, Justin Bieber. So I think, yeah, you can still get in.
Okay. Another question. In the Guildford diocese and across the country, the Church of England is asking for anyone who has suffered church-related abuse to come forward in a past case review.
Yes.
How can we all be assured that this is not merely a box-ticking exercise and that the Church really wants to get to the bottom of the problem?
There are numerous reasons for that, and I'm really glad you asked. First of all, please come forward. I want to add my voice to that. Secondly, we have moved towards our central safeguarding authority, which is overseeing the past cases review, is just within a few weeks of becoming fully independent from the church. So we have no control over what happens. They will look at it and they'll do it. Thirdly, if you look at the record of the last 7 or 8 years, you will find one of remorseless self-examination, absolute transparency when we've got it wrong, and of independent reviews which we've followed up. And I've given evidence twice to the independent inquiry, and it was a emotionally grievous thing to face the awful pain of the survivors. And it's having met survivors and heard what they've said within my own mind and heart. The last thing I want is a box-ticking exercise. I want a church that gets it right.
You said, I think, at that inquiry, in 2018, you said you were ashamed of the church over the issue of child abuse. How do you feel now?
I feel that we've got hope of improving very significantly, but this stain on our past and the pain suffered by those who were abused is something that will take a very long time to heal.
Okay. So, what do you think are the special issues faced by the church in the Diocese of Guildford? It's a relatively affluent area, but it nonetheless has quite significant areas of deprivation.
It has very significant areas of deprivation. The parish where the bishop's house is has served 60,000 meals over the last 12 months or so at its food bank. I think, as someone said to me earlier today, it's harder being poor in a rich area. They're being poor where everyone around you is in the same place as you are. Second thing is, even in an affluent area, there's domestic abuse, there's alcoholism, there's probably a bigger problem with drugs, more of the sort of more expensive drugs. There's family breakdown, there's money troubles. It's just they're much better concealed. The church brings the healing and hope of Jesus Christ, and that's what we're inviting people to come and find out about.
So the church is hugely active in these ways of helping people less fortunate. I just wonder, are we too dependent on charity? Or is it something that we should be looking to tax corporations more, tax people, tax the wealth side more?
Well, it's not an either or, it's both and. Yes, we want a society. I would love to see food banks completely unnecessary because we have a really good system for caring for those in trouble. But the reality is there will always be some people in need, and the calling of charities is to fill the gaps, to be there. And even if they're not obvious gaps of hunger or whatever it is, and it is a shame that in the 6th richest country in the world we have hunger and child hunger, would you believe, in this country. But in addition to that, it's the other needs I've mentioned. The church will be there, and God is there for those whose lives are in great shape and for those who are struggling. Come and find out.
Okay. So we have an absolutely beautiful cathedral in Guildford.
Yes,
I'm sure
absolutely.
Yeah, and but it seems to serve a tiny number of people. I've seen attendances of 4 people at evensong, even when there's been the wonderful choir singing. I mean, it's been ethereal. I've looked around and thought, goodness gracious. You know, I just wonder, it costs over £1 million a year to keep the cathedral going. Could that money be better spent on the issues we've just touched on?
I don't think it could, because first of all, you're missing out. If you don't go to a choral evensong, you're missing out, because the music is out of this world, and it's just a time, whether you're a believer or not, for sitting and thinking quietly. It's fabulous. But in terms of the money, what is the motive power for Christian faith for over 2 billion people around the world? It's worship. We don't build buildings for fun. We build them to gather together and worship God. And it's in worshipping God that we find the love and power of Jesus Christ, which enables us to work outside the church in all kinds of amazing ways.
The key there was we gather together. It seems to me that the cathedral up on a hill, it doesn't gather people.
I can't speak for Guildford Cathedral, but actually over the last 20 or 30 years, that's a very fair question, over the last 20 or 30 years, cathedrals have been one of the main growth areas of the church, funnily enough. They've tended to grow in numbers. And I think also in other places, we see many growing churches. Yes, there are lots of churches shrinking, it's always been the case, but we have many growing churches.
Okay. So, Archbishop Dustin Welby, thank you for talking to the Guildford Record News today.
Thank you, Hugh, very much for taking the time.